Ladies and gentlemen, it's not afternoon yet. Good morning still. Still me, again, Lekao Rachidi from the Student Retention Unit. Welcome to this session. In this session, we are going to hear about processes related to your registration. And I have with me Ms. Lizelle Stemmet, and she is from the Directorate Student Applications and Registrations, and she's going to take you through a number of processes that are important for you to be able to navigate whenever you need assistance, and to realize also that there's a lot of self-help that you can do in order to gain the information that you need. Sometimes people think, academic record, I must go to a center somewhere in order to get an academic record. But no, you can actually just download it. It will come stamped and things like that. So she is here. But before I let her speak and take the podium, I want to just make you aware. I was in the previous session and I saw a lot of you, unfortunately, are sharing your details, your cell phone numbers, your Gmail addresses. And we understand that you are looking for study buddies and people that you could study with who happen to be near you. So unfortunately, you will put yourself in danger by doing so, because people might take your personal information and use it for something else. You are looking for a study buddy, but someone else is looking for your information for something else. So just be cautious about that. So what I have done in this session, I have muted the chat, so you will not be able to use the chat until somewhere midway through the session. I'm going to activate it then. And I'm going to allow you to post your questions. Post your questions for the presentation on applications and registration. And I'm going to, at the end of the session, take those questions that you have, and I will post it to the presenter for her to respond. All right, so just also note that those questions that we are not able to get through, just like we did when we had the pre-registration orientation, we'll take down those questions, we'll get the answers for you, and we will email you the responses to those questions that you may have not had an opportunity to get answers to. All right, so I'm going to hand over to Ms. Lizelle Stemmet. Lizelle, can I get the indication that you are here? If you are comfortable sharing your camera for purposes of YouTube streaming, if you could perhaps do that. And please, when you are ready, you can take the floor and continue with your session. Students, thank you very much for joining and for being patient. She will be with you just in a moment. Over to you, Lizelle.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I'm going to share my screen with you because this will be a live session for you to follow. When you log on to MyUNISA, the MyUNISA website, you log on to My Admin, and obviously you then need to log in. And the password. So that logs you in to your MyUNISA. Sorry. It's just. Let me just log in again. Sorry for that.
Yes,
And then
Lizelle, just as you are still trying to log in, let me just, for the benefit of the students who may have joined after I had made the announcement, that please do not post when I open the chat later on. Do not post your personal information, please. We will not be able to account for what happens to your personal information that you have shared on the chat, because as I indicated, your purpose is to get study groups. You have noble intentions, but someone else is going to take your details and use it for something else. So please, let's refrain from doing so. And then I also said that we will have a Q&A session at the end. How much time will depend on how much we have time left at the end of presentation, but I will go through the chat. I will pick on questions that you would have posted. I will then ask Lizelle to respond to those questions. Please, let's limit our questions only to the topics covered in the presentation. So Lizelle is going to take you through the registration process or registration related processes. And let's limit our discussions only to that. I see Ms. Sophie Mabaso has also joined. She will come back shortly for sign language interpretation. Thank you very much, colleagues. And Lizelle, please, you have the floor.
thank you, Mr. Rashidi. Finally, we are locked on to my UNISA. For my admin, this is where most students find difficulty navigating through the website. So just allow me to take you through it step by step. Click on the button there, student admin, and under student admin, you will find a whole lot of tabs for admin purposes. For instance, Mr. Rashidi mentioned that you can get your academic record. If you click on academic record, you will note that all the qualifications, your qualifications might be different from what is shown here, because this is what the student has done. Yours might be different. So you can get your academic record for any of these qualifications that are listed here. I'm just going to click on one. There it shows the modules. You can email it to yourself with marks. You can email it to you without marks. So you can use any of these. The moment that you click on it, you can see, and it's already there. It's in your email box. So it's as easy as that. All right. I'm not going to email an academic for all the qualifications. They all work the same. So going back to my admin, student admin, you can apply for exemption. Now, please remember, this is exemptions for when you have studied at another institution previously and you want to use those credits for a registered qualification at UNISA. Most importantly, as you will see, there's a pop-up. I'm just going to highlight that so that you can see. You must be registered for a qualification to apply for exemptions. All right. So if you are not currently registered, you will not be able to apply for exemptions.
Yeah, no,
Right.
the EFF chased them away this morning. So they at home, yes.
Biographical
Yeah,
details. You can change any of your biographical details here. You can update your exam center, but as you know, all exams are now online. So there's only one option for you, and that is online examinations. You can then click on request, or if you see that you maybe made a mistake, you can cancel and it will simply go back. If you want to update your contact details, you can update your home number, your work number, your cellular number. Please remember, when you update your contact details, you need to put the dialing code without any numbers or anything in between. Your dialing code directly followed by your actual number. When it gets to your cell phone number, please note the format. It's the +27. Drop the 0 in front of your number, then just followed by your number. Fax number. Very few people use faxes these days. But if you still have a fax number, you can use that. And then your email address. Once you have claimed your UNISA MyLife email address, your email address or all emails will be sent to that. We cannot communicate or send any information to a Gmail or a Hotmail email address because those email addresses are not verified. We have to keep in line with the POPIA Act, and hence your MyLife UNISA email address is the only secure email address that we can communicate with you on. All right. Once you've changed your contact details, just to show you how it works, changed my fax number, or I added the fax number, and I simply click on submit. And can you see there on top, it says your contact details were updated successfully. It's real time. So the moment that you submit anything, those changes are made online. If you want to update your address, you can click on either your postal, physical, or your courier address, whichever those addresses that you want to amend. And if you reside outside of South Africa, then you click on whichever one you then want to change. Let's click on postal address. If you are not sure, you can click on advisor assistance. Let's continue.
I'll have to come to his rescue. You guys are abusing her.
Okay.
Not right.
So I'm just going to add that right back there and continue. You will see if that button is not clicked, you won't be able to do anything. So you have to click that button, and please read through this so that you are well familiarized and you know what is expected of you. And you click on submit. And it is done. It really is as easy as that. All right. Let's go to the next one. Enroll for Learning Center tutor classes. As you know, there are many tutor classes if you are registered, obviously, if you are not registered, you won't be able to register for any of these tutor classes. But once you are registered, those modules for which there are tutor classes will be listed here. And you can simply then just click on whichever module you want to register for the tutor classes, submit, and that's that. You will then receive information from the student tutor centers on sessions, dates and times, etc. Graduation information. If you are about to graduate in the current graduation period, then your graduation details will be listed there. Obviously, this person is not graduating yet, and hence there are no graduation details yet. All right. Readmission. If you were excluded based on poor academic performance, you can here then click on readmission application, or maybe you have reapplied and it was turned down. You can click on readmission appeal. So readmission application, please read the statement. It will tell you why you've been academically excluded, and then click on next. This person was not academically excluded, and hence it won't give the option to apply for readmission. Registered additional modules. If you are registered, all the modules that you have not yet passed will be listed. In this instance, this person is not yet registered for the current academic year, and it would state you have not registered for the current academic year. To register, please go to registration. You may then click on the hyperlink, and it will take you through the registration process step by step. Cancellation of modules. If you were registered for the current academic year, then it would list all the modules that you are registered for, and you can then click on each module that you want cancelled. Again, this person is not yet registered, and it would state that you are not registered. Maybe you thought you registered online and everything is going way okay, you're ready to tackle your studies head on, only to find when you come here to add modules, you will see this. If you see this, then it is because your registration is not yet being processed. All right, and you can then use the previous module or button to register. We will go over to registrations in a moment. Let's go to registration. Now, please remember, this is a step-by-step process. Don't skip the steps, because you might find yourselves not knowing what to do next. You might find yourselves not knowing where you are, and it's just because you haven't followed the steps. Okay. First of all, kindly note that registrations will close on 12 February. Registrations for semester 1 has been extended to 16 February, so you can still register. All right. You will need the following to register on the web: your student number and your email address. Remember, it is your MyUNISA. If you have not yet claimed it, you simply click on the hypertext there. Undergraduate. Let's go. Have you ever registered at UNISA previously? Yes or no? Doesn't matter. If you've never been registered, obviously you would click on no and then click on the web registration walkthrough.
I know she asked me for time and.
If you
that
answered
case
yes and you
was
have your student number at
chaos.
hand, please proceed to web registration.
But
If you
that
follow the
times-
steps, you cannot go wrong.
Yeah, let's make time. If we don't put it in the diary, then it's not gonna, just not tomorrow.
I just want to get the
Yes.
date of birth here.
Perfect with me.
There's a year. And as you can see, it's a drop-down list. So it's really, really easy for you to just click on that drop-down list and select the year, the month, and the actual birth date. Before I click on next, let's say you make a mistake with the date of
Perfect.
birth and you want to click on next. See, do you see that does not correspond with the information on the database? So it checks it real time and it's quick. So let's put the correct date of birth here. Click on next. Even if you make a mistake with the surname or the first names, and like you see in the background, the processes are running. It checks all details. So only once all the details are correct, you click on next, and there it actually takes you to the qualifications. Now there's a drop-down list. Only the qualification that you applied for and gotten an offer for and accepted, you will be able to register for. No other qualification. Click on next, and there it gives you your personal details. You can select your study delivery method. Here as well, you can change any of your personal details. Do you remember previously I updated the fax number? Can you see that the fax number is there now? You can take the fax number out and change any of these details. The moment that you click on submit, it will, in the background, it will update your details. So once you made sure that all your details are correct, you can click on next. And if you, like you saw now, if you skip any of these steps, it would give you a message to say, please remember, select the career option. Please ensure that someone, you see, you get pop-up messages all the time. Just make sure that you read them and that you familiarize. Please select previous activity. working in labor force. Click on next. Let me just show you the pop-up there, and it says, please select your preferred UNISA office for support. Can you see there? There's no UNISA office selected, and it's very easy. Click on the drop-down list, and this person is in Pretoria Sunnyside. That's where the students are. Office is. Click on next. Payment option. This is just to show you wherever you miss something, there's a pop-up message. Self-paying. Just give it a moment to, there you go. So only once all the tabs are filled, all the information is correct, does it allow you to go to the next screen. That's why in many instances you find yourself stuck and you can't proceed. That's when you've missed one of the steps. We'll ask, are you in the final year of your studies? You can click yes or no. Do you need an access card? Yes or no. Display methods for study units. List students, study units valid for your qualification. And the code. You can change it by code or description. Click on submit. And it states here, study units you wish to register for. The LLB, that's the new curriculum. And then study unit code, select from the study units below. List level 1, list level 2, level 3, level 4, list all. So you can click on whichever. Okay. Study units you have credit for. So those units that you have already passed will be listed here. Just click on the drop-down list and you will see all the modules that you've passed already. Let's take the first one, CMY 1501. The moment that you've passed it, it takes it out of the options. So that you cannot accidentally register and pay for it twice. So all the modules that you have passed will be listed there. And if they're listed there, you will find that they are not available here. So I'm just going to click on one module. Practice study still. Okay. Can you see here the module that I clicked on to register is listed there. If you say, oh my goodness, I've made a mistake. I actually wanted to register for another module. Simply click on remove and you click on next. All right. Click on remove there. Click on remove selected study units. And the module is gone. Now you can click. Let's say you decide, oh, I rather want to do this module or that one. Practice study unit selection. And you click on next. Then it will list the module that you selected. You can change your level. It's only offered in English. If you click on the drop-down list and there's no other option, it means that this module is only available in English. registration period, you can click on either first or second semester, and you click on next. Get a pop-up again. This is information you supplied. Please ensure that it is correct. You can go through all your information a second time. And then payment type. You can click on credit card or other. You can get an online estimate of study fees if you are not sure. Let's click on that. And there you go. It says, yeah, academic year, that's for the current academic year. If your country of residence or the country in which you are intended to write your exams is not in South Africa, please indicate. South Africa, all other countries in Africa, if we click on that, or it will check it against your address as well. Qualification level. Just want to get the qualification code here. No. 680. Have to key in the qualification code. Library access card. You can click either yes or no. Do you need to apply for matriculation exemption? And HFL. HFL 1501. List all the modules that you want your study fee quote for, and you can click on display. Gives you the full amount, that's the total. Payment due with registration, this is the initial amount that you have to pay. And you can immediately see what the cost implication would be. All right. So let's get back to registration. Just going to go back to the registration itself. Run through all of these. Sunny side, activity, labor force. And if I remember, good, next. Permit option. Next. So let's click on the module that we want to register.
Next question, Rory.
Okay. You see that submit button is not live because that button
Yes.
was not ticked. See what happens if I tick that button? Can you see that automatically changes? Now, registering, it says your temporary registration was successful. Okay, this is just a temporary registration. This is not a full registration. So this has to be activated on the student system. Now, in order to show you how to cancel modules, let me just activate the student. Just want to see which modules. Okay, good. Admin. I just had to move it back. All right. Registration is done. Student at. So you can apply for adding modules. Can you see the supplementary exams granted? It would list all the supplementaries and the modules that you are currently registered for. Click on cancel modules. Would list the modules that you are currently registered for. There. I've written understand that I forfeit. Okay. And you can then click on proceed with request. If you want this module to be cancelled, you need to select that module. Proceed with request. I'm not going to proceed with the request now. Otherwise, it's still going to charge the student the fee. So I will just cancel it from my side. Proceed with request and the module will be cancelled. Request proof of registration.
But I don't see a proof of payment. Now, could be, but
Okay.
I didn't
You can
send it
click on request letter and your proof of registration will be emailed to your email, your MyUnisa email address. Also gives you a pop-up and you will receive it shortly. Request semester change.
602 rand and 50.
Maybe your working conditions change, whatever may change. You're currently registered for semester 1. Because of the closing date, you will see exchange no longer possible. Use the cancellation function, and that will be grayed out. If it was still within the allowed cancellation date, that button would be live and you simply click on continue and it would cancel it in the background. All right. That brings us to the end of this session. Mr. Rachidi, if you want students to ask questions, please can they do so, and I will answer as best as I can. Thank you so much, everybody.
For now.
Okay, Lizelle, thank you very much
Yes.
for this. Students, please let's appreciate the presentation. I think it was as demonstrative as possible, just so that you get a practical sense of how you engage or navigate the learning management system to help yourself, so that you don't always have to go to the center to get, support. I had previously just opened up the chat, and there's some questions, Lizelle. So I'm going to read some of them to you. The first one is, any advice if it's recommended taking 2 yearly modules at once, or rather split them into 2 years? Lizelle?
Sorry, Mr. Rachidi, could you just kindly repeat that?
Okay, the student is asking if you would advise them to take 2-year modules at once, or if you otherwise suggest that maybe they should take 1-year module in 1 year and then maybe do another year module the following year.
Okay, that would depend entirely on the student's circumstances. That would depend on time that you have to study, the finances that you have available. If you've applied for NSFAS, has NSFAS approved payment for both modules or not? So there's a number of factors that comes into play. Mostly it would depend on your time. If you have sufficient time available to register for 2-year modules, do so. Because every year that you do not register a year module, you extend your studies by another year automatically. But granted that students who also work full-time might not have all the time available than students who study full-time. I hope that helps.
Okay, great. I see the next one is about a student who says that they have temporarily registered and they are not able to get the study material. Thoughts on that, Lisa?
Okay, it all depends on whether or not your registration was processed or not, because your study material will not be issued until such time as you are physically registered.
Okay, great. How long does it take for the cancellation of modules to reflect on the system, Lisa?
That also depends. It might take a day or two. When you cancel it online, it might take a day or two, because when you cancel, it is actually, the process runs in the background. So the cancellation also happens real time unless there is a problem. So if there is a problem and there's a staff member's intervention required, to allow it at least 3 to 4 days to be updated on your My Admin.
Perfect, perfect. Is there any possibility that UNISA can allow for late payment of registration fees? In other words, when is the last day that students must register? And if they do not register by that date, it will be too late for them to study at UNISA this semester at least.
Last date of payment is usually the closing date of registration. So for first semester payments, first semester registrations was extended to February the 16th, this coming Friday. So if your payment, if you do an EFT, do it on the 16th. Don't do it on the 17th or the 18th, because the date of payment, it might not appear in UNISA's bank account that very same day, because you might be, for instance, let's say with ABSA, when you do an EFT, it will only appear in UNISA's bank account 2 days after. All right, but make sure that your date of EFT is on the closing date. You can email that proof of payment. It will reflect the date on which you actually do your payment, and that payment will then still be accepted and processed.
Okay, thanks. I see another one was asking about those who indicated that they wanted study material to be couriered to them, or that they want to collect at the regional center, they should do so. But because they are fully registered, they have access to the study material on My UNISA. So I just responding on that one. But the next one for you, Lizette, is
Send an email, but now
is it possible to register a year module in the second semester?
No, year modules you have to register at the beginning of the year. Closing date for year modules is in March. You cannot register a year module in July and then have it run over into a next academic year. So year modules can only be registered at the beginning of the year.
Great. Then the next one is about additional modules. You did indicate and demonstrate how they can add additional modules, or add other modules. And if they do that, pay, how long will it take until it is reflected that they have added those modules?
Okay, like I indicated, registration activities happen real time. So if you add a module and you do payment of that module, and everything is 100% with your adding that module, if the module fits into your curriculum, if the pre and co-requisites have been met, etc., that transaction will go, or that addition will go through real time. So if you do it online, do your payment, you would have immediate access. Students find that, they add modules and then there's a hiccup. They don't have direct access. If you haven't paid, that registration will not be activated. Some students have documents outstanding, like a marriage certificate or something. Then if the system reflects that that document is not received, it will also not have that addition go through real time. Students click on adding modules or adding a module when the pre and co-requisites have not yet been met. That will also then not go through, it will require intervention, and there will be a pop-up to tell you that there is an issue. So there's a number of factors that determine, but if everything is okay and the payment is done, it will go through real time and you will have immediate access.
Okay, perfect. The next question is about what you also demonstrated, that they can change some biographical details. But it does appear from the question from the student that some of the fields might not allow them to make those changes. For example, the student is talking about the region where they are. So they may have said, hey, I am in Ekurhuleni, Gauteng, but in actual fact, they were in Joburg, or they reside in Joburg, or Western Cape for that matter. So what advice would you give them if they're not able to make those changes on my UNISA?
Okay. Remember, like I said, there's a whole number of background processes and checks that runs in the background. If your address reflects, let's say your postal and your residential and your courier address reflects it somewhere in Soweto, you won't be able to register to get support from the Cape Town office because it's not in your region where you reside. If you then want support from the Cape Town office, you would have to travel there, which is, I mean, it makes no sense. So it also reads where your addresses are listed at, and it will allow you to select support from an office in that region.
Okay. I'm just going through to see if there's any more. Yes, one of the students is correctly pointing out that some of the questions are not for this session, but I'm going to
asking for our UP supplier ID
email.
name.
Okay, I think there's nothing else, Lizelle, for you. I think you have pretty much covered them from those that I can pick up on my side. I think we are good. Otherwise, students can continue to and Lizelle can be able to respond because she has already done on those that I was able. Anything else you'd like to say, Lizelle?
No, nothing from my side. I'm done. If there are no more questions, then thank you everybody for allowing me this opportunity to speak and present to you. I hope that you find it worthwhile. Like I said, I just want to reiterate, if you log onto my admin, whatever action you choose, remember there will be pop-ups, there will be messages for you. Read them carefully, as it is very simply explanatory, and it will tell you exactly what to do next. Good luck everybody with your studies. It's great having you as part of the UNISA family, and I'm excited. So good luck everybody. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Lizelle. Let's show Lizelle some love once more. Please, ladies and gentlemen, if you are still temporarily registered, which means you have not paid the minimum registration fee, it means you will not be able to have your UNISA MyLife email account. You will not yet be able to claim your UNISA login. So just keep that in mind, that you will have to wait until you have fully registered. And you did hear that if you are registered for semester module, that you have until the 16th of February 2024 in order to pay and finalize the registration. Otherwise, the rest of the information you will find on the UNISA website. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for attending this session. Once again, we are going to exit and move to the next session, which is starting at 12 o'clock. And this one is about the student retention unit. This is where I am, and my colleagues will be joining me to share with you all that you need to know in order to be successful in your first year of study at UNISA. Let's meet in the next session. Thank you very much.